of the story, The Boy Who Delivered a Letter to George Washington, written in one continuous flow, and ending with your requested call to action in English. Years passed like falling leaves, and the war that once held a nation in chains finally ended in triumph. The British surrendered at Yorktown, the colonies rejoiced, and the name George Washington became immortal across every town, village, and field. But in the quiet corners of history, another name echoed, a name not written in newspapers or carved into statues, but whispered in campfires and remembered in stories passed down from soldier to son. Samuel Reeds, the boy who rode through ice and fear, through betrayal and fire, to deliver a letter that changed the course of a war. After Yorktown, Samuel returned to his village with his father, who opened a small forge again and lived a humble life. But Samuel was not the same boy who once huddled by the fire and asked where his father had gone. He was different, now stronger, wiser, and full of stories he rarely told. Years later, as a young man, Samuel joined the new American Postal Service, delivering messages not just of war, but of peace, rebuilding, and dreams. He never wore a uniform again, but his heart beat with the same rhythm it had on that cold day. He left home with a letter beneath his coat. One autumn morning, decades after the war had ended, an elderly George Washington, now president, visited a small town in Pennsylvania. He stopped his carriage near a modest post office, where an older man with calloused hands and a warm smile sorted letters. Washington stepped down and looked at him with recognition. "Samuel Reeds," he said with quiet honor, looked up surprised. "General, I mean Mr. President. No need for titles," Washington said. "I never forgot what you did." Samuel smiled. "I was just a boy with a letter." "No," Washington replied. "You were the voice of freedom when silence could have cost us everything." They shook hands, and though neither man spoke further of that winter ride, they knew what it meant. Samuel lived the rest of his life peacefully, raising a family and telling his grandchildren the story of how a single letter helped build a nation. He never sought glory, only goodness. And sometimes, in the quiet of night, he would take out the worn pouch that had once held that historic letter and place it near the fireplace, not for remembrance, but for reverence, because it was not the ink or the parchment that mattered, it was the courage behind it. And in the story of America's birth, one boy's courage burned as bright as liberty itself. If you love this story and want more historical tales full of heart, courage, and inspiration, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Would you dare to ride into history like Samuel did?